Go ahead.
Good morning. Hello.
Morning.
Glad to see you all here. Of course, we are still virtual as far as the majority of the public is concerned. We do have some special guests here this morning, and we'll be seeing those folks here in just a few minutes. So we're glad to have you here. So I'd like to, at this time, call this meeting of the Mecklenburg County Board of Supervisors to order. I would please ask that you mute your cell phones so that we don't have those interruptions during our meeting. And at this time, I would ask that you stand for the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, Board, you have in your packet the minutes from our meetings of March the 18th and March the 8th and March the 22nd. If you have no questions or amendments to those minutes, we need a motion to approve them as presented.
Chairman, I'll motion to approve the March the 8th and March the 22nd minutes.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, you have the an amended agenda before you. This has been slightly amended since the one you initially received. I don't have any other additions or deletions. Anyone else have anything they wish to add at this time? If not, we need a motion to adopt the amended agenda.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to adopt the amended agenda. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Our first order of business this morning is an adoption of a resolution for the Recognizing Telecommunications Week. At this time, I'm going to read you that resolution. And we have some special guests here this morning that we will make a presentation to. This is National Public Safety Telecommunications Week, April 11th through the 17th, 2021. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services. And whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and limb and the preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our police officers, rescue squads, and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the Mecklenburg County E911 Emergency Communications Center. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services, as they are the person on the other end of the phone call. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers, rescue squads, and firefighters, by monitoring their activities and by radio, providing them information and ensuring their safety in these most difficult times. And whereas public safety telecommunicators of the Mecklenburg County E911 Emergency Communications Center have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year during the pandemic. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mecklenburg County Board of Supervisors declares the week of April 11th through 17th, 2021 to be National Public Safety Telecommunications Communicators Week in Mecklenburg County in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our county and citizens safe. Signed this 8th day of March, 2021, H. Wayne Carter III, County Administrator. We need a motion, folks, to adopt this resolution.
Mr. Chair, I so move.
Motion to adopt the resolution. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? At this time, I'm going to go down and I'm going to ask our 911 folks that are here this morning to please come up.
Go ahead.
So you can get in the camera.
Okay. How's that? So I've read this resolution, and on behalf of the Board of Supervisors, I want to thank you all for a job well done, and the public just owes you so much gratitude, and thank you very much, and keep up the good work. And anything this board can do to help you in the future, please let us know, okay? Thank you. I guess we'll do it that way, huh?
I'd like to thank you and the Board of Supervisors for recognizing these hardworking men and women of 911. I brought with me this morning two of the frontline people. Tazeen Dixon's been with the county for a couple of years, and Ann Crandall for a little over 5 years, which she worked at Piedmont, so she's been here about 18 years, I believe, 17, 18 years with the county. So these are the people that are on the front line. They're the unseen heroes that answer those calls. Last year, we received over 60,000 calls into our 911 center, 20,000 of them being emergency calls. So that was 20,000 people on their worst day, and these men and women, they strive to do an excellent job. Their professionalism is just unresounding, and I just want to publicly thank them for the job that they do each and every day serving the citizens and the visitors of Mecklenburg County.
Well, thank you. And I think a lot of people fail to consider just how stressful a job this is. When these folks are answering calls and they know that somebody's life is depending on them getting it right. Somebody on the other end is in danger, and they have to get it right. So, God bless you.
Thank you, Board. I appreciate your support. Y'all are there for us, and we really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank y'all. Okay, next we have a couple of public hearings we need to conduct concerning rezoning and special exception permits. The first is a special exception permit application from Dolores Pulliam. Mr. Hendrick?
You got an application by Dolores Pulliam for a special exception permit to allow for a bookkeeping service. This property identified as county tax number 174000 -A-012 zone residential R2 is located on the south side of Highway 707 Phyllis Road. Approximately half-mile west of its intersection with Martin Lane, Borden District, Election District 6, County of Mecklenburg, reference deed book LR-10-2733.
Is there anyone here representing Dolores Pulliam that wishes to speak before we go to public hearing? If not, the public hearing is now open to consider the application that you just heard read. Anyone wishing to speak to this matter, come forward. Did we get anything electronically, Mr. Carter or Mr. Hendrick?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, well then I will close the public hearing. Would also like to mention that the Planning Commission did unanimously recommend approving this application. So what's your pleasure, Board?
Mr. Chairman, motion to approve.
All right, motion to approve this application as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next is a rezoning application. Intermetro Properties LLC. Mr. Henry?
Have application by Intro Metro Properties LLC, Barbara Simple, to rezone from industrial M1 to business B1. This property identified as county tax number 18000-A-045A. Zone industrial M1 is located on the south side of Highway 903 at its intersection with Highway 1401, Bracy Drive. Lacrosse District, Election District 3, County of Mecklenburg, reference deed book LR-6-4129.
Okay, is anyone here representing Intermetro Properties?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name's John Jansen. I'm here on behalf of actually two applications for Intermetro Properties. These are two adjacent parcels. One's approximately 4 acres and one is approximately 1 acre. They are on 903 on the south side before the old railroad bed, right across from Exit Realty. A trucking company bought them back, I believe, in 2005 and had them rezoned to industrial to accommodate their truck activity. We feel the whole area is just a normal business or B1 zoning, and that the highest and best use is the B1 as far as creating jobs and revenue for the county.
Okay.
And I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right. Thank you. Anybody have any questions, Mr. Jansen? If not, I would declare the public hearing open to consider this application from Intermetro Properties LLC. Anyone else wishing to speak to this matter? No other electronic? Okay. All right, therefore I will close this public hearing. And I also would like to mention that the board of the Planning Commission also unanimously recommended approval of this application. So what's the pleasure of the board?
Motion that we approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve this application as presented. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, Mr. Hendrick?
You have an application by Intro Metro Properties LLC, Bravo Simple, to rezone from industrial M1 to business B1. This property is identified as county tax number 18000-A-045B. Zone industrial M1 and is located on the south side of Highway 903, approximately 200 feet west of its intersection with Highway 1401, Bracy Drive. Lacrosse District, Election District 3, County of Mecklenburg, reference deed book LR-6-4130.
So this is just an adjacent piece of property, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
It's two separate tracks.
right, okay. All right, I will open the public hearing to consider this application. Any other electronic comments, Mr. Hendrick?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, in that case, I will now close the public hearing. This also was unanimously recommended by the Planning Commission. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to approve. The application is presented. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, next we have a property committee report. Mr. Jennings?
Property Committee met on Monday, April the 12th, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. in the Board of Supervisors meeting room. Members present: Jim Jennings, Chairman; Andy Hallgrove, Claudia Lundy, Glancy Spain, Sterling Wilkinson. Also present: Glenn Barber, Charles Jones, Tom Tanner, David Brankley, Wayne Carter, Judy Sheffield. Chairman called the meeting to order. Mr. Carter presented bids received for demolition of Buckhorn Elementary. The low bid was received from R.J. Smith Construction for a cost of $93,475. He stated that this company is highly recommended. They will have 6 months to complete the job, and the county will pay the tipping fees. Upon the motion of Mr. Wilkinson, the committee voted unanimously to recommend approval of the low bid. Supervisors Jennings, Spain, Lundy, Hargrove, and Wilkinson voted yea. There being no further business, the meeting was adjourned. This time, Mr. Chairman, I move to accept this bid for the demolition of Buckhorn Elementary.
You heard the motion and the report. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Budget and Finance, Mr. Spain.
Mr. Chairman and board members, the Budget and Finance Committee meeting met on Monday, April 12, 2021 at 8:45 a.m. in the Board of Supervisors meeting room. Member present, Lance Spain, Charles Jones, David Brinkley, Jim Jennings, and Sterling Wickelson. Also present, Glenn Barber, Anna Hargrove, Claudia London, Tom Tanner, Wayne Carter, County Administrator, Judy Shutfield, Ed Taylor, and Samuel Langsford. Chairman called the meeting to order. The Sheriff Department has received an insurance check for $6,420.
I got a typo over there.
And 74 cents for the Danville Sheriff vehicle. Sheriff requested a supplemental appropriation to the Vehicle Replacement Fund. Upon the motion of Mr. Jones, the committee unanimously recommend approval of the $6,420.74, a supplemental appropriation to the Sheriff's Department. Chairman, I stop to make a motion that we accept this appropriation of $6,420.74 for the appropriation to the Sheriff Department.
All right, you've heard the motion and the report. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
And last, Mr. Carter stated that Ed and Samuel, with has been working on the budget and hope to have something to the committee by the end of the month. There'll be no further business. The meeting was adjourned. That concludes the Budget and Finance Committee report.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so we have our Tourism Director, Tina Morgan, here this morning to give us some updated information. Welcome, Tina.
Thank you. I'm gonna queue up my.
It's on Jim.
Do wrong.
Here we go. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, honorable board members. I appreciate you having me here today to give you an update on what's happening in tourism in Mecklenburg County. Since I last addressed you, a great deal of my time has been divided between driving visitation during a pandemic and helping our small businesses who are so vital to our mission in tourism for the county. Thanks to an allocation of CARES funding this past fall, the Tourism and Arts Relief Grant was created to help our struggling nonprofit organizations who found themselves left out of a lot of federal opportunities. The grant was open to all 501c3 and C6 organizations located in Mecklenburg County whose mission was related to tourism and or the arts. We advertised this opportunity in local newspapers, social media, our websites, through our towns and chambers, and even directly to known eligible organizations. As a result, we had 13 organizations apply, and out of those 13, 12 received grant awards. Altogether, we awarded about $139,000 to this particular group of nonprofits. To say the least, they were grateful. Some expressed that this funding was instrumental in helping them keep their doors open. And I'd like to thank the CARES Committee for allowing me to create this opportunity. Of course, you all know about the gift card match program and how we were able to use CARES funding while leveraging consumer support to double the impact to our small businesses. After running 3 rounds of the program, I'm proud to report that we were able to put over $1 million back into our small businesses right here in Mecklenburg County. But the story does not end there. Since launching our last round, I've received numerous emails and phone calls from other localities, not only across the state, but from across the nation. Towns and cities wanting to find out how they can duplicate this program in their own areas. It's been my pleasure to share my experience with these localities, and as a result, as of today, from what I can tell, the gift card match program has stretched way beyond our county lines, and it's helped even more small businesses beyond our borders to the tune of $3.9 million. Tourism marketing in a pandemic is challenging. This past year has been focused on road trips and outdoor activities and safety. Luckily, we were already in a good position for that, and my campaigns have been centered around our small towns and outdoor adventure as Mecklenburg County continues to grow in popularity as an outdoor destination. Here's a fun fact. Carl Lake was named as #1 crappie fishing lake in the United States by Fisherman Magazine. According to the latest data from the Corps of Engineers, visitation for COE-managed parks was down about 12% from 2019. Camping was completely closed for 2 months in 2020. But as you can see, 3.5 million visitors for fiscal year 2020 is still an impressive number of people visiting our parks in a pandemic year. This data includes both day visits and overnight visits. Our hotels are reporting an increase in bookings, which is evident with this latest year-to-date lodging report from STAR. Tourism regions all over the state are showing decreases in occupancy, while Southern Virginia has been holding with a steady increase. To help guide our visitors through all there is to do and see here, I've added a new tour section to our website. The tour section will include sample itineraries for day trips or weekend trips. I just launched this section with a 3-day Taste of Mecklenburg tour that includes 20 stops. In addition, I've added new blogs, which all have small feature videos that are focused on a specific attraction. We've worked hard to show people what's here, and now my focus shifts to develop content that shows them our personality. All of this new content gets tied together with the release of a quarterly newsletter this month that will go out to about 120,000 email subscribers, along with targeted media ads that will be displayed in various places online to get more people to the website and ultimately to plan a visit with us. One of our outdoor assets is getting a lot of attention lately, and that's the Civil Rights and Education Heritage Trail. On January the 18th, the General Assembly passed a joint resolution commending Virginia's Crossroads for the importance and significance of the Crete Trail. As you know, the trail is a self-guided tour, and it tells the stories of how African Americans, Native Americans, and women had to fight for the right to an equal education in Virginia from the end of the American Civil War through the Civil Rights Movement. It's composed of 53 historic sites and 12 localities across central and southern Virginia. Mecklenburg has 3 of those sites here. We've teamed up with Virginia's Crossroads to build a media campaign that promotes the region as a whole, including the Crete Trail. The campaign includes a series of commercials that started airing on Comcast's network of channels, including their live streaming services, in March. The commercials will be aired nearly 12,000 times in these zones between now and October. And here is Mecklenburg's commercial. I need volume. Can you turn me up, Jenny?
I think you have to do it over there. That Crestron thing.
Can't hear. Sorry, y'all.
It's plugged in.
Fix my volume for a second. It's all the way up here, Jenny. Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Had that happen before. And I've gone out of it and on the TV and then come back into it. And I have sound.
Find your path in Mecklenburg County. Where will your trail take you? You can experience culture, a rich history, the great outdoors, exciting adventure, and set aside some time for leisure. Find your path in Mecklenburg County, heart of Virginia's crossroads. Trailblazers, welcome.
Good job.
Angie's little 30 seconds of fame there. Planning for the American Bass Anglers Tournament this October is underway. I've pulled together a committee made up of town, chamber, park, and fishing professionals to help plan a smooth event. From October 17th through the 22nd, we expect 250 anglers and their partners here for this national championship. We expect lots of media coverage and a significant local economic impact. Even though the weigh-in is located in Clarksville, I'm working to engage all of our towns to roll out the red carpet for our guests. The last 3 years, the championship tournament has been hosted in South Carolina, and the anglers are very excited for a change in venue. I don't normally include a what's new in my presentations, but we've got a few cool new developments that I wanted to share today. Clarksville is getting a major lakeside facelift. The new Bridgewater Bar and Grill has taken the place of the Lamplighter restaurant, and it's actually opening tomorrow. Both hotels are under new ownership and undergoing major renovations. I've met with the new owner, who's very forward-thinking and has some big plans that will ultimately transform Clarksville's lakeside landscape. Bugs Island Brewery will be opening its new waterfront location this summer. The McDonald's has been completely rebuilt. And stand-up paddle boards will become a new amenity near the town dock. Chase City has gotten 2 new restaurants. Blackwater Station was opened by Robert Bondurant this past month, and he plans to also add outdoor dining in the coming months. And Bear Claw Grill will feature a complete menu of outdoor grilled foods and will be opening in May. As temperatures warm and more people get vaccinated, we are well on our way to bringing live music and outdoor events back. This past Saturday, our first big event here in the county was the Clarksville Wine Festival. It was held both safely and successfully, and downtown Clarksville came alive with people who were very excited to come together again. Next up, we're bringing back Lake Life Live, concerts in the park, party at the Pavilion, and Bluegrass in Boynton, to name a few. I, for one, am very excited to see live music return to Mecklenburg County, and I hope to see you all out there this summer. Finally, I have an update on the Tobacco Heritage Trail. We've just been notified by Erica Tanner at the SPDC that the Virginia Outdoors Foundation grant that this board agreed to be a co-applicant on has been denied. If you remember, the grant's purpose was to obtain easements from landowners and to build a trailhead west of Boynton. Even though we weren't selected in this round, we were encouraged to apply for the next round, which is actually due this week. According to Ms. Tanner, the scope of the project has changed only slightly. Now it will focus solely on planning and designing the section of trail from the proposed trailhead west of Boynton to an overlook at Rudd's Creek. The new project will be to request $250,000 to build and construct the trailhead and plan and design the trail. The hope is that this will give a more shovel-ready and competitive future project to develop the trail with VDOT, DCR, and possibly EDA funds. Today, I ask for your endorsement of this new project so we can draft a new support letter for Ms. Tanner as she submits the grant at the end of the week.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman. Do
All
we
right.
support this?
All right, we have a motion to support this grant. Any questions? Any discussions? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Thank you so much. That's all I have for you today.
Thank you, Tina. Anybody got any?
Yes, Mr. Chairman,
Questions for
I have
Tina?
a question. First, thank you for outstanding job. A lot of business, giving you a compliment. On the chart, you shows most of the areas are down in hotel, and I know the south side is up by approximately 2.4%. Other places, traffic, tourism, but what the key for south side? Why she held her own?
I'd like to say it's because we're more awesome than the rest of the state. But I honestly believe it's the solar farms. I think it's the employees coming in for the solar farm projects that are really occupying the hotels, and they're really keeping them afloat.
Thank you.
And that's based on, I've had conversations with our hoteliers in the different towns, and that's mostly what I can attribute that to.
I think most of those people are out of town, or out of state, have to come here and have to stay a while.
Yeah.
One of the, Tina, too, make sure under the new things, the Blue Heron in La Crosse has reopened, and it's now home of the Monster Sub.
Oh,
And I can
fantastic.
assure you, if you haven't been in there, the sub is like this long. It's a tremendous sub. And also, do we have any update? I saw in the state budget there was some VDOT funding that was approved for trails in there, and I know the Tobacco Heritage Trail was listed in it. Do we have any update on that funding?
If that came out recently, we haven't had our next board meeting to talk about that, so I don't have an update right now, but I
Okay.
will in the near future.
That's fine. I'll touch base with you after the meeting.
Tina, the fishing tournament, this is 17th through the 22nd of October.
Mm-hmm.
Is all that weigh-in and all that happening over at Okanichi Park?
Yes, sir. The weigh-in will
Okay.
happen the last 3 days of that tournament at Okanichi Park.
And so they are pretty involved with the Okanichi, the Santa Claus, and all of that?
They're very involved.
And I know the other thing, it's a lot of these, the high school, just seeing pictures, it's a lot of kids involved in this fishing thing. These fishing teams and stuff. Are they playing any part of this?
The plan is to engage them to help us during the tournament, because I'm gonna need a lot of hands on deck. And so I think it'd be nice for them to be exposed to a national championship of this nature.
Have they
So-
they've been contacted to help and be a part yet?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I'm still getting things off the ground. We just nailed down the weigh-in location because there was some back and forth about it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to finalize that before I,
Yeah, I think that'd be a great opportunity for them and all on these, that are involved in that. To
Absolutely.
have this stage here right here in our backyard.
absolutely.
I noticed, I read something recently where apparently they have revived the discussions on the high-speed rail situation, in which would come through La Crosse. Now, what impact that may have on tourism, I don't know, because
We
I
just
mean, I
gotta
don't
get
know.
it to stop.
I don't even think it's gonna stop. It's
Yeah, we gotta get it to stop.
Yeah,
It'll be
so, I don't think folks are gonna be jumping off a train at 100 miles an hour. But anyway, I mean, I guess it's got some potential, but.
Yeah.
But they've
there
been
was-
talking about it, how long, Mr. Carter, 25 years?
Yeah, the first 10 years is where they're going to be buying the right of way, buying 50% of the traffic line from Richmond to DC, and then putting in a new long bridge across the Potomac beside the existing one, because that is actually the logjam going north. So that's in this 10-year plan that they've got, and they're gonna buy the right-of-way down to Drury. I don't believe there's any money set aside for construction in this phase of it currently spoken. Construction will all be north, Richmond and north.
Right. Okay.
We hope, because in the original plan, La Crosse was supposed to be the stop, so we hope to
Yeah.
keep that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, would be nice.
Well, Tina, thank you very much for your report and a job well done. Thank you.
Sir.
Good job.
Okay, Mr. Carter?
Yes, sir. On a side note, you will see a $45,000 line item in the budget this year for Tina's for the fishing tournament. That is our money that you all approved 2 years ago when we signed up for the project. You've got the building inspector's report. You do have in there this month the building permits for the prison site. We have those. You also have the zoning administrator's report. Animal warden's report. Happy to say about almost over 80% of the animals were either adopted out or returned back. And we do have another group that we are working with, Sweet Virginia, which is taking a number of our dogs also.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
On the, where is it here? On the adopted animals.
Yes, sir.
What process do we go through with those animals to make sure that they're suitable for adoption? They're not
Aggressive.
Vicious dog, you know?
They have them up at the shelter. We keep them for a week, sometimes longer if they think that this is one that is adoptable. We can work one of the SPCA's, either Lake Country or Sweet Virginia. They look at those disposition. I mean, our guys have been doing this for a number of years. Disposition from the time they're picked up while they're in the shelter, as they're being handled back and forth, being moved from cage to cage. As Doug said, you can pretty well tell then whether an animal. We've had some though that were fine the entire time and just one day turn, and we're very careful on those that we try to take to the adoption agencies. A lot of the ones that are taken to the SPCA are puppies. They have a lot of those that go up north. I think, Charles, you're well aware they've always had a van that went north for probably 20 years now. And because they take those up to New Jersey. But we have, they go through them and try to see, and if there's one that they're not sure on, they'll keep it an extra few days to see whether they feel like it's something that is adoptable or not. We do try to adopt out all we can, sir.
Sure, okay. Okay, all right, thank you.
Mr. Carter, for the sheriff's report, I think we have a deputy that I don't remember seeing here before. Could he be introduced for?
We have our lead investigator today, Mr. Woodmore. Captain now, I'm sorry. Higher promotion. But that's Captain Whittemore at the sheriff's office. The sheriff and chief deputy were out today, so.
Okay, thank you.
Pleased to have him. You do have the sheriff's report. If you have any questions on that. As we scroll down, you have VDOTs. They have been around the county patching holes throughout. I think any of you have seen. They are doing that on various secondaries. They do have a private contractor who is going out and picking up the primary roads. As David said, he saw the load they had on 49 over the weekend. They've had these every week. They're hauling it every day to the landfill on those. They do have a private contractor through a FEMA contract that is cutting the trees along the sides of the roads. They expect to be doing that for the next few weeks. Then they will be coming back and hauling all those to a central location up at Chase City and using tub grinders and grinding that up. So that'll be, but as Mr. Jennings says, especially if you go north of us on 85, if you run out the road, you don't have to hit the ditch. You just run out the road and you'll hit the trees. And there's some on 47 if you go some spots in other places. So they are working on that, but they're following in this county on a FEMA contract. Mr. Brankley was asking me about that earlier today.
Yes, I was a little concerned about, seeing all the out of state people from, you know, Texas and Florida and everywhere picking up the limbs and stuff. And I know the nights of the storm, and when we have this ice storm, we get local contractors come out in the storm and actually get it up. And I just, you know, if the FEMA was hooked up already, I understand that, but I know some other districts did get local people to clean up that thing, and I just think if anytime the opportunity can come upon, we need to involve local people, especially when we ask them to come out in the storm to get it up, and then bring in somebody from Texas to clean it up later on when the weather's better. And back to the trash, they're picking up the trash, and we were talking between Miss Lundy and all a little bit here, and you know, I know the deputies and all, they you know, it just ain't but so much they can do that to enforce that, but I wish we could kind of think about somewhere down the line to come out and push to kind of advertise whether it's in the paper or something, for people to take a little more pride in our county. We talk about this tourism and all, and I can tell you something, you ride down the roads at home and all and see all this trash that they rode in. People, I don't think all of it just blowing out the back of the truck. It's getting thrown out, and it's, and you know, right around home, I cut the grass around my yard out on the road, and it's every day. It's beer cans and stuff like that thrown out. But, you know, I think we just get people more involved to look out for it, where the deputies don't have to watch it all the time. People see it, can speak up or something sometimes, and we can do something to kind of cut in on all this trash and stuff beside the road and all. So, I don't know, just a thought.
Yes, sir. It's an ongoing issue throughout our county and our neighboring ones also.
I don't know if they have gone up Buffalo Springs Road yet.
There was a private group that did that, and that was picked up 2 weeks ago.
Well, they went up, but you know where you turn to the right after you go up Buffalo Springs for 2 or 3 miles, whatever it is. From when you turn to the right, it gets bad again.
They didn't clean that section, and there's no crews to do that. That was actually a neighborhood pickup that did the Carter Point Road.
Okay.
And that was their section was, I understand, from 58 to that intersection where you go down to the point.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, when you turn right, it's a little different.
Yeah, they did their 2 miles, and that's all that had. Mr. Brinkley brought up years ago, I'd say probably the better part of 20 years ago, VDOT really pushed adopt a highway programs.
Yeah.
That has really fallen by the wayside, I will tell you. And a lot of the civic groups that did that in the past, because of COVID over the last year, they haven't done that. They are starting to go out, I think, now and do that. But there were a lot of civic organizations that did that have not. And I think, you know, everyone is seeing the same issue with regards to it. We have spoken with the sheriff. Once he gets his next group of officers out of school, we're going to look at getting a crew from the jail. They are doing that with sheriff's deputies right now in Brunswick and Dinwiddie, but we are short-staffed by 5 deputies, which is 10% of our force. So right now, once we get those on, we will start with those new deputies, having them go out hopefully 1 day a week, or split it up so that we have a crew every day, and they can split up the days and go out and take them. We'll have to look at getting a van or something to haul them, but we can do that. And hopefully that will help.
Yeah.
But that's about all we've got right now.
I actually passed a little crew this morning that were out picking up.
So that's one of the things we're looking at, so we'll probably have to do that. Look at picking up a used van, and then also a trailer to haul the trash off and do that. But that is one of the things we're looking at, sir.
Okay.
Because I don't know when we're going to get the crews out of Camp 4 anymore. They used to do that, but VDOT's going to probably put them in the beginning doing right-of-way cutbacks because they haven't done those in a year. So a lot of what their work that they've done in the past is that cutting on sides of roads, et cetera, around bridges, things of that nature that they can't get to. Last thing I have is Southside Behavioral Health, their monthly update. And that's all, sir.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on anything, Mr. Carter? Okay. So moving along, we have, excuse me, some appointments that we need to address this morning. The first one is the term of Mr. J.R. Price on the Board of Zoning Appeals. That term expires April the 30th. He is eligible for reappointment.
Move to reappoint Mr. Price, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Motion to reappoint Mr. Price to the Board of Zoning Appeals. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The term of Mr. Keith Carter on the Board of Zoning Appeals also will expire on April the 30th. He is eligible for reappointment.
Motion we reappoint.
Motion to reappoint Mr. Keith Carter to the Board of Zoning Appeals. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Lastly, the term of Mrs. Gail Moody on the Mecklenburg-Brunswick Regional Airport Commission. Her term also expires April the 30th, and she is eligible for reappointment.
Chairman, motion to reappoint Gail Moody.
Motion to reappoint Gail Moody to the Mecklenburg-Brunswick Regional Airport Commission. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Also, you have in your packet the Roanoke River Service Authority minutes of their February 23rd meeting. That's for informational purposes. You have the consent calendar in your packet. If there are no questions concerning the consent calendar, we need a motion to adopt the consent calendar as presented.
Chairman, motion we adopt the consent calendar as presented.
You heard the motion. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, that concludes our regular agenda items. Any public comments, Mr. Carter, as far as
No, sir, we didn't receive any. Just on a side note, with regards to that, we will be opening up to the public beginning next Monday. So at our next board meeting, hopefully we might have a few people. We'll see.
Okay. So our next board meeting will be open.
Correct. We will still have limited seating, so it might be that we have to bring people in and out as staff gives reports, leave, and then have a public comment section where we bring people in at that point in time, sir.
All right.
Are we going back to our regular seating arrangement too? or stay-
Well, that's, so far,
I don't care, it doesn't make a difference.
because of the seating and the fact that you all have, I think that's something that could be discussed is how we move forward to open that up, and that will also open up this back part to allow for more seating.
Okay, all right. Okay, board member matters. Ms. Lundy, you want to start us off?
Yes, thank you, sir. I would just like to thank, excuse me, thank Tina for the great job she's doing here in the county, especially for small businesses and also for the county itself. I have one question that I didn't ask you then, but it came to me later. What are we doing about Widow's Mill? That's a beautiful place. The waterfall. Have we added that to our tourism list?
Yes, ma'am, it's currently on our tourism list. And I do promote it in our ads, and it's on our website. We do promote it. I know it's been threatened
Yes.
lately, and some letters of petition have gone out to try to protect that, but I don't have an update on the status.
But you will still continue to work forward on that?
Absolutely, yes,
Okay.
ma'am, it's a beautiful asset
It
in
is.
Mecklenburg.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Franklin?
Well, again, I'd like to thank Tina too for the outstanding job you've done and continue to do, and I look forward to this. I'm not a fisherman, but I'm looking forward to that crowd and going down and seeing some of that and also and all. Also that, like the 9/11 staff, I just, thank him for the job. I tell you, Mr. Duncan has done a great job since he took that over, and I think that's pretty obvious to all of us, and it sure is nice, Wayne, to be thinking about we might be getting back to some open meetings and getting back to some normalcy a little bit. So that's kind of something to look forward to. Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks, sir. Mr. Town?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just glad to see everyone doing well. Everybody's here at our meetings. I would also like to recognize the hard workers at the 911 center. As being somebody that's sometimes on the other end of the radio from them, it makes a difference how they do their job, and it makes it easier for us to do ours. They do a great job every day, and I'm glad we were able to recognize them today. Thank Tina for her report, for everything that's going on in the county. It seems that we're doing well, and we've been well situated with having the lakes and construction activity that's going on and things like that. We've been well positioned. And thank you to Mr. Carter and his staff for always making sure that our concerns get voiced. I know we're always talking about trash on the roads and the issues that people have, and I think we're trying to address them the best we can, and hopefully between the pickup crews and maybe some of these civic groups, we can get back out and get some of that taken care of. And just looking forward to kind of getting back to some form of normalcy. That's all I had, Mr.
All right, thank you, sir. Ms. Jennings?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have a lot, you know. Wayne Carter does such a great job for this county right here, and we'd hate to lose him, but maybe we need to loan him out to the federal government. Something needs to happen there. I don't know exactly what, but I guess he could clean a train wreck up, a big train wreck. That's all I've got.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hargrove?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank Ms. Tina for all the efforts she has done and influence she has over all this other counties and states. Good job. And also I'd like to thank the 911 for all they have done, and especially for the ice storm that came through. They was a tremendous help. And also at this present time, because so much is funding down from the state and local government, especially the state, about our schools and how they should be run. I want to recognize the assistant superintendent who was here this morning to join in on our meeting. And other than that, if I had more time, I will yield to Mr. Brinkley, but since I don't, thank you very much.
Mr. Wilkinson, you can take up his time.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have a lot of different information to say. Again, just thank you for Tina for everything. I mean, it's so obvious how, you know, how important tourism is to our area. We should all be thankful for your leadership. I think in general, just to be even, you know, considered to host such an event is something to be thankful for itself. I mean, our area has a lot to offer. I mean, it's a really big deal, this fishing tournament coming. We should all be thankful for the many assets that we have. And, you know, again, about the 911 center, it's a very demanding and stressful job. I mean, it's every time it rings, there's a problem somewhere, obviously. And 20,000 emergency calls, I mean, you just don't realize the volume. So we should, you know, be thankful for Ben and his staff. But other than that, that's all I have.
Thanks, sir.
Well, I just like to reiterate what everybody said about the telecommunications recognition for this week. There's so many people that just don't really know what goes on behind the scenes and how much is involved. I know personally because I have a niece that tried to be a 911 operator, and she said, it's not for me. So it takes a special group to be there for you and to be able to get the information they need and help you through whatever crisis that may be going on, and they definitely should be recognized. Also, Tina, you know, when you think about tourism in this county, you know, it's like one of the biggest things we have here, you know, and it's just overwhelming to see as she went through each thing on the screen of what's going on, how much is involved. Just so many different aspects of it that sometimes maybe go unnoticed by the common person. That I'm glad she brought that to our attention. And of course, I'm just hailing from Clarksville, so of course I'm glad to see the wine festival come back. You know, it's like the start of getting back to normal. It just was a great feeling. Then we got the new ownership at the motels and the remodeling going on there. To see the McDonald's, how they, I mean, they just flat did a number on that McDonald's. If anybody was going by there daily, almost, you could just say, wow. And, you know, of course, the bass tournament coming to our area too. it's just a lot of bright things on the horizon, and I just really appreciate all the work that goes on in getting us back to some semblance of normalcy. So, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, sir. Ms. Spain?
Board member, I agree with all that has been said. We have an amazing county here. And look out in the midst of the leaders that are here, Tina, you included too. And some we don't see. This truly is an amazing county. When we really think about all that is going on, that goes on. The trash issue, we've been talked about it. What if there a sign could be put up? No trash at road, clean roads. Could the school kids somehow be involved in picking up trash, small groups or something? How could the community could be, I know their liability, be more involved?
It's always
in-
a liability issue.
It is a lot, but it's always a liability.
Yeah.
Almost anything, because I live near the Skippers Road, and between Bluestone High School and Chase City, it's the dumping ground for, I think, the kids, when they get through with whatever, just out the one they go. And that road need more trash pickup, but since the pandemic, where the road been looking much, much better now. So that's something, even I pick up trash on my road. I'm getting familiar with the label on the bottle. Well, thank you, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, sir. Yeah, I also want, Tina, thank you for your report. And like others have said, Mecklenburg County has a lot to offer to our visitors here, but it doesn't do any good to have a lot to offer if you don't get the message out there and let people know you have a lot to offer. So that's where Tina's job comes in, and she's doing that very well. You know, you call 911 center and you never think about the face that's behind on the other end of that phone. So, you know, it was nice this morning to be able to look in the faces of those two young ladies and see the faces of these people that are doing this, and I might add again, very stressful job. It's a very stressful job, and as Mr. Jones said, it takes a special person to be able to handle it. So we just thank them very much. School construction looks like it's moving along at a pretty good clip. I crane my neck every time I go by there. I'm just gonna have to pull off to the shoulder one of these days and just sit there and stare at it. But so that's still a very exciting. Also, I want to thank our citizens. I want to thank the public for their patience while we've been going through this pandemic, and we've had to close offices, and you know, we can't have the public here for our meetings, and you know, believe it or not, we miss having the public here. We enjoy hearing their comments and like to have them here. So so it looks like that might be coming to an end here very soon, within the next week or so. And we're real excited about that. And just here again, just appreciate your patience with, with our county staff. They got a tough job to do, and they're doing that very well also. That's all that I have. Anyone else have anything they need to bring before the board at this time? If not, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you.